Hi guys, this is my book review for Allegiant by Veronica Roth. It is the third book in the Divergent trilogy. The first two books are Divergent and Insurgent, and you should definitely go start with Divergent first. Yeah, totally needs to be read in order. So, there are spoilers beyond this point for the entire series, including Allegiant. The need to talk about this book. So, if you don't want spoilers, then ta-ta! See you later. This book. Oh my goodness. Alright, first of all, it's narrated in 2 points of view, one of them being Triss and the other one being For, and there were a lot of people getting confused about who was narrating. I was listening to the audiobook for it on my iPod. I didn't even know that was a thing, but I finished Insurgent and was like, I need to read this book. So I got the audiobook faster than getting Allegiant out of the library, because I am broke and can't afford to buy books all the time. I got like halfway through Allegiant, and then I got spoiled for me on the internet. Curse you, internet! And just, no, I couldn't deal with it and had to put the book away for like 3 months. So I started this book in December, and it's now March, so yay, being stuff. The 3-month period where I knew Triss had died before I actually read it happening was good, I think. It helped me process. It helped me process Triss's death. So that was good, at least. But still didn't make it. I mean, it made it a little easier reading the book, but it's still, yeah. The entire second half of the book, when I was reading it, I knew Triss was going to die, so I kept seeing all the little clues. And Uriah, when things started getting worse with Uriah, and I'm like, Triss is going to die and Uriah's going to die? What is this craziness? However, I do actually think it was a good move on Veronica Roth's part to have the protagonist die, and to this universe that suited it really well. A lot of dystopian novels, everybody comes out alive at the end, and that's not realistic, especially when there's so much other death going on around them. You can't expect nobody to die. Yeah, some people were saying they'd rather For had died, but I don't think it would have hit us as hard if it had been Caleb or Christina or For as Triss's death. And so Triss's death itself, I was prepared for, and yes, I was a sobbing mess. And I was still listening to the audiobook at this point, so the audiobook kept rolling, and it kept going into 4 chapters. And then just watching the train wreck that was For dealing with Triss's death, because he was in such a great place before she died, obviously with all his insecurities, and now she's dead, and he just completely... But I do like the chapters where the ones that got really short, and it's just like him fading in and out, because I think that's what it actually feels like. That's what actual grief for somebody you're close to feels like. It's just like, life is going on around me, and I don't notice it anymore, and I like seeing that part, to see an accurate representation of it. So yes. Okay, so there's Triss's death. I talked about it. Yay! Moving on. I was super excited to read Allegiant because I'm like, they're going beyond the wall. I have been so intrigued about what the heck this wall is and what's beyond it ever since I watched the movie first. So whenever I first saw the movie for Divergent, and was like, yes, we get to find out what's beyond the wall. And it was pretty much what I expected about this whole thing being an experiment. We spent so much time in Erudite headquarters, and the way that the Erudites think that I could just see this all being an experiment, especially since the entire city is already wired with cameras. The Dauntless are watching everybody else. Why couldn't somebody else hack that video feed and watch it also? So I wasn't too shocked about that, especially after Edith Pryor's video. But I really liked finding about Triss's mom, her diaries, and meeting David. And I know Triss really, really hated David, but I saw that he liked her. Like, I recognized the symptoms that Snape has in the Harry Potter books. I recognized those symptoms in David, and it's like, oh, he's in love with your mom, and that's sweet. And Triss just hates him irrationally. But I don't think he's any worse than anybody else in the Bureau. Like, that's what the outside world is, and they're stupid, but I don't think he's stupider than anybody else kind of thing. So, yes. All the moments of indecision, I liked watching them work things out and figure it out, and it's not like somebody just comes up with the answer and bam, okay, let's do that. Like, they actually debate it, and is this the right thing to do? The Bureau wants to wipe out the memories of everybody in the city and reset the experiment. And Tris is like, no, you can't just reset my life like that, and all my friends are gonna forget me? What? No, that's not okay. And then actually struggling with the obvious answer and the quickest solution is going to be to reset the memories of everybody inside the Bureau, who are admittedly not as innocent, but there are still, like, there's support staff and stuff there in the Bureau who don't have anything to do with the experiment. So, on the other hand, the Bureau also turned their blind eye to everything that was happening in the experiment and also everything that's happening out in the fringe area with all the homeless. So, yes, it was the lesser of evils, but I like the fact that they actually stopped to debate it and that it wasn't something that was just like, we're gonna do this. But I like Tris's decisions. The whole series is about Tris's decisions and, you know, the other characters for Christina. All of their decisions and how that impacts. Yeah, I love the way that, yeah, one of the themes of the series is how your decisions impact everybody else around you. And that the entire ending was Tris making, it wasn't I have to do this because, yeah, even Tris's death with Caleb, like, she did it to save her brother, and logically I don't think Caleb, reading it, I didn't think Caleb had it in him anyway to go through it all, to make it through the death serum, and then still in that moment remember all the steps, whereas Tris does have that kind of pull and that adrenaline rush when she gets into these things. So logically it made more sense that it was Tris, but I could also see, yeah, I liked that idea, like her figuring it out and remembering it, and she has to do it because otherwise she couldn't live with herself if her brother died, basically. I love the epilogue with the scattering of the ashes and the way Thor faces his greatest fear. It's not really his greatest fear, but Thor has faced all his other fears at some point or other in this books, and he faces the last one by ziplining. So he's kind of faced his fear of heights, climbing like the Ferris wheel and stuff. But to take down the one thing that he wouldn't do, which is to go ziplining and to do it before it's taken down, or he loses his resolve. To see him scatter Tris's ashes over the entire, like, the city that she helped save, and that was super poetic and sweet. And I love the way that they fixed the city. Like, normally, I guess these series end in them fixing the problem. But they fixed not only the city inside the wall, but also they're starting to chip away at the bigger picture outside the wall. And I love the way that it went down. It was awesome. So I was torn with this book because I really loved everything that was happening, but I was also like, not Tris. Yeah. This book is all kinds of mixed feelings, and definitely read it. Like, read it at least once. I'm not saying you ever have to go back and reread it, but if you should read the Divergent series and you should read Allegiant, you should finish the series and get to the end, because it's worth it, and it's important. So, yeah. There's my book review for Allegiant. Yep. Let me know what you thought of the book. I know you guys are probably going to disagree with me or have other comments, and I'm sure I forgot most of what happened in the book. So, ta-da! Feel free to share your opinions. Okay. I'm in a weird mood. I love you guys. Peace.